Welcome back to the IBEW Local 702 postgame show. Final score, Murray State 62. Southern Illinois 60 as head coach Scott Nagy joins us. His comments are brought to you by Sam C. Mitchell and Associates. Coach, just where do you start off? What's first on your head after this one?
Not leaving it in the hands of the officials. That's our fault. That's our fault. Didn't show up the first half. Coming off 2 losses, you'd think you'd have some desperation to you. And, you get in a home game that should be a road game, all kinds of things that should be in your favor. And we don't show up. We just don't show up emotionally. I would say we played good enough defense. Are you kidding? To win today, but they shot 25 free throws. We shot 17, and make your free throws. That's all we got to do is make free throws, and we didn't do that. A lot of simple things. Offensively, we were better in the second half because we just went away from all the stuff we've been trying to run. I just can't watch it anymore. It's just too slow for me. And so we haven't run motion in forever. We ran motion in the second half, and it looked better. We just looked more downhill, more aggressive, threw it in more. So we were better offensively in the second half. We played good enough. We played good enough to win the game defensively, but we were so bad offensively in the first half. And, you got to be able to guard without fouling on top of it. We out-rebounded them. I mean, a bunch of stats really in our favor, but the 13 turnovers to their 7, so they're getting 6 more shots there at least. Just show up when the ball goes up.
Coach, I know, and I'm sure a topic at halftime, only 1 offensive rebound in the opening 20 minutes. I mean, how much was...
That's all I had to say.
Yeah.
We missed 18 shots, and we had 1 offensive rebound. So, we don't need to talk about anything else. There's nothing else we can talk about. That tells you everything you need to know and how, in terms of how hard we're playing.
We talked about that too, Coach. That was a very obvious indicator. One thing that's not easy to do that somehow you got your guys dialed back in on the offensive end. 1 for 9 from 3, that just wasn't going. Then when you don't go rebound those long ones. But in the second half, your first 3 came on Deba's kind of a late shot clock 3. How did you get your guys? I mean, you talked about the motion, but how did you get your guys to keep going to the lane? You outscore them 44-22 in the lane tonight. That's not easy to coach, man. You did a good job with that. What stuck in their mind to understand they got to go back to going powerfully inside?
Well, in the first half, all we did was stand around, and they just have it packed in. So we're not moving anybody,
Yep.
and so any drive, they're all looking at the ball. All we did was stand around. Second half, we had movement. Basically, because they're switching everything, we're doing 2 things. We're running loop cuts and we're setting flare screens, and they got confused on a lot of it, and we got a lot of shots at the rim because we moved the ball, we moved people, we moved their defense around. They weren't just standing staring at the ball.
What was your first of all, the play you ran to get the timeout, it looked easy, but man, and I know Coach Luke tells me that you guys will work on a lot. So impressive how you executed that, and coming out of that next timeout, the last one, what was your first option there? Were you trying to get Davis a catch?
Yeah, and he would have had it. I got to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
So we had it. We had the right play called,
yeah.
And he just absolutely got held and grabbed. He couldn't cut
yeah.
because they grabbed him. And so, but this is my whole point. Don't leave it in the hands of the officials.
Yeah.
Play good enough. Show up where we don't have to worry about that and complain about that, because if you're going to blame it on other people, then you're not going to change. And so it's our fault. It's our fault that we didn't show up when we should have.
We've talked a lot about his impact, Coach, in really the recent couple of weeks. Jorge, he literally gave you your all. He was still on the floor as he was completely gassed, was a big part. How big of a part was he in getting this game flipped and back in your favor?
It was important. They had a hard time guarding him because he's so big, and it makes it more difficult for them to switch. But it was just more everybody's mentality. We quit thinking and started reacting and playing and just being a basketball player, and we were aggressive. But he helps because he's so big, and like we were able to run a few sets and get the ball inside to him, and so our guys did a good job of getting back in the game, of running some into the game stuff, running some set plays that we had. I was probably more involved there in the second half offense than I've been in a while, but I can't watch us standing around anymore.
Yeah. Coach, I know you were kind of hinting at it in one of your answers too, from a defensive perspective. Can you talk us through of just maybe at times where, I don't know if it's correct for me to say miscommunication, but it looked like at times on ball switches, specifically with Wood in the first half, but it got much better in the second half where he didn't get as many clean looks?
You know, it was on those, you know, our guys just ran into screens. Like, we're not switching with our center. And we know he likes to go left and shoot the ball. I mean, we just know that. And we died on the screen. You can't die. You know, if you're going to get hit with the screen, that's fine, but you can't die on it. And we did. In the second half, we didn't. You know, you know, like Kennard got through those ball screens and just blew them up, and that's the way it's supposed to look.
Of course, I know we talked about the importance of Ellington in this game. He had a big second half, a lot of it just getting to the line. I know you talk about defending without fouling a ton, Coach. Just this, look, there are a lot of whistles in this game. Just describe the inning of your team to be able to get those defensive stops. Just unfortunately able to get that one last rebound to give yourself a chance in a tie game late.
Yeah. Although, you know, it's all those things, all those little things that don't show up on stat sheets that win and lose games. Like, you know, being able to grab that rebound. Yeah. You know, knowing your personnel. Like, we close out on a guy that's everybody knows is left-handed, and we on two things. We don't let people drive baseline, so we let him drive baseline. We let him drive to his left. It's those kind of things that don't show up in stat sheets. That it's why you win and lose. It's not whether people make shots and blah blah. In the first half, we just our brains were not engaged. They were in the second half.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Once again, I would say Coach Scott Nagy. His comments are brought to you by CMC Mitchell and Associates.